Before we get into today's video, I'm pleased to announce that my new merch store is live. I've brought back popular designs and items like my Mando shirts, mega mugs, jibber jabber tees, and so much more. You can find the link to it in the description down below. Thank you. Hello my dear friends, and welcome back to another video. So today we're back to talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi, and with just 4.5 days to go until the finale, we've got a lot to talk about. It's crazy to think that this show is coming to an end so soon. We always knew that 6 episodes would just fly by, and we had a 2-episode premiere, so just 2 weeks in, we were already done with half the show. Let's hope part 6 is an absolute banger, and I think we all know a possible big surprise that we're in for. But you know what guys, I'm gonna save all of the theories and speculation for the episode 6 preview. The day before the episode's release, I do my preview videos and we talk about everything from fan theories to leaks and so on. So I'm not going to be speaking about Reva or Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan or Vader in this video. Instead, we have a couple of really important tidbits for the finale. Now, as some of you might be aware, Lucasfilm and Disney plan on hosting screenings of Obi-Wan Kenobi's entire 6-episode run in select theatres on Wednesday, June the 22nd. This is only for Canada, with the cinema chain Cineplex. So why is this important? Because we now know the runtime for the finale. The total runtime for the entire series plus a Q&A at the end with Hayden Christensen and Deborah Chow is listed as 5 hours and 20 minutes, but the website also listed the runtime for screenings of the finale alone, which is listed as just over an hour and a half at 1 hour and 33 minutes in length. But don't get too excited, because this finale runtime also includes the Q&A, so the episode itself is estimated to be between 40 and 50 minutes in length. I would absolutely love if it were longer, but right now, that is the most likely runtime. We all want a movie-length finale, but that's not going to happen. I would love to be wrong, but I don't think so. So expect an episode of somewhere between 40 and 50 minutes. Fingers crossed it's a bit longer, pushing the higher end of things, coming close to 1 hour. Now that's not the only bit of news we have for Obi-Wan Kenobi, because season 2 may have just been confirmed. If you think back to a couple of weeks ago, Making Star Wars put out a report stating they've heard a 2nd season is in the works. And now, in an exclusive interview with Radio Times, Hayden, Ewan and Deborah Chow inadvertently revealed that this is a strong possibility. Let's dive into it. While there is still 1 episode to go before Obi-Wan Kenobi wraps up, the show's cast and crew are already looking to the future, with Hayden Christensen revealing he would be open to season 2. Speaking to RadioTimes.com in an exclusive interview, director Deborah Chow said that while she planned for Obi-Wan Kenobi to be a limited series, there are, quote, more stories that you can tell. She went on to say, you know, we did conceive of this as a limited series, so it's not an adventure of the week sort of story. It's one big story with a beginning, middle and end, so I think this story was very much conceived to be its own standalone. But then she goes on to state, I mean, there are of course more stories that you could tell. There's obviously another 10 years before we get to A New Hope, and with a character like Obi-Wan Kenobi, I think even just watching him ride across the sand sometimes is interesting, so who knows, it's hard to say right now, but it was not the intention. Now, the possibility of a 2nd season is certainly controversial. We don't need to know every little thing that Kenobi was doing on Tatooine until A New Hope, and sometimes in Star Wars, some things are best left to the imagination, and the reason I put such emphasis on Tatooine is because his mission to rescue Leia in this 1st season is supposed to be his final big adventure before returning to Tatooine and living out the rest of his life protecting Luke. It's supposed to be his last big hurrah. I would hate if season 2 took him off world again and the show does become the adventure of the week. There is a certain continuity they should stick to in order for A New Hope to make sense. If Obi-Wan is traveling the galaxy every week, then suddenly he's no longer believable as a hermit who spent 2 decades on Tatooine leading up to episode 4. And I know the question of canon and continuity is a divisive one in this fandom, especially in this show. Some fans argue that nothing's been broken, while others say it absolutely has, and there are others who say it has been broken, but it doesn't even matter. But I would say at some point, I really think we have to admit it does. We can't end up at a point where George's vision is tampered with to the point where it's no longer recognizable and no longer true to the original trilogy, and I think that's what's going to happen if you do move into the multiple seasons territory. And even if Lucasfilm stick to the canon, telling too much of the story in between these 2 trilogies can have a negative impact on the magic and mystery of it all. On the other hand, More Ewan McGregor and more Hayden Christensen would be amazing, but it's all about the balance of things. If they choose to go ahead with season 2, then why not draw from the Kenobi Legends novel by John Jackson Miller? Go out and read it if you've not done so. The book proves that there are plenty of Tatooine-based stories that you can tell with Obi-Wan, ones that don't ruin the fan perception of the character's journey in the films, and one that stays true to telling a balanced story that fits in well between these two trilogies. And I'm not saying the Kenobi series has not done that. I absolutely love so many moments of it. And after the brilliant episode 5, I'm so excited for the finale. But all I'm saying is, if you move into multiple seasons, you do run the risk of clashing with the original trilogy and also telling a story that maybe doesn't need to be told. Part of the magic of Star Wars has always been in the mystique. But let's say hypothetically, we do get a season 2. If they do decide to move things forward a few years, kind of closer to A New Hope, then maybe we'll see the twin sons duel with Maul from Star Wars Rebels, but this time in live action. That would be absolutely insane. That is something I would definitely be up for. But having said all of this, you can have more Ewan and Hayden in other shows. I've often spoken about the possibility of the Ahsoka series, and after seeing the flashbacks we got in episode 5, why can't they do Clone Wars flashbacks with all 3 of them, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan and Anakin in the Ahsoka show? That would be a brilliant use of them. And of course with Hayden, you can have him as Anakin's Force Ghost, and as we know he's already involved in the series, and last week we had a rumour from Bespin Bulletin stating that Vader in flashbacks is going to appear in the Ahsoka show, so why not have flashbacks to when she was a Padawan under the tutelage of Anakin Skywalker? I would say you could have Ewan McGregor as a Force Ghost, but it has to be Alec Guinness's portrayal for the current canon to make sense in how we know and understand how Force Ghosts manifest. And speaking of Force Ghosts, I think we're about to see one in episode 6. I did promise at the start of the video I wouldn't really talk about the plot, but I'm so excited about the possibility of seeing Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon again. But as I said, I will be making a video closer to the release of the finale, breaking down what I think is going to happen. But going back to this article, season 2 seems to be on the table, and it could bring with it some really positive things, but I am also worried about the downside. Am I being too pessimistic? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. This is why I also think an Inquisitor show would be a good idea, because you take the focus off of Obi-Wan. He could of course appear in the series, but when the spotlight is off him as a protagonist, you have a lot of other avenues to explore. And it goes back to what Taika Waititi said yesterday about his upcoming film. He doesn't want his Star Wars movie to repeat the same tropes as everything we have in the Skywalker saga. It's going to be fresh with new characters that does not depend on the Skywalkers or their allies. And because Reva survived in episode 5, if she survives by the end of this season, I think there's almost a certain possibility that rumour of a Reva show is true, or another spin-off that heavily features her. Let's wait and see. So share your thoughts in the comments down below, guys, and that brings us to the end of this Star Wars news update. If you enjoyed this one, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and a huge welcome if you are. We're currently on the road for 150,000 subscribers and hopefully 200 and beyond. Your support means everything, guys. Thank you all so much. And if you want to support the channel even further, then why not check out the links down there in the description. You'll find my Patreon, my merch store, and much more. But until tomorrow, may the Force be with you always. I'm Megan, also known as Star Wars Meg. Have a good one.